So the new SR/HPR system in Black Ops 7 Ranked has been doing this thing for some time now. And for the most part, from what I can see, the community seems pretty happy with this. There is a handful of people that have a point of contention with it for a few different reasons. Because I know you remember, not even that long ago, every single day people were complaining about HPR. People felt hard stuck. People felt like the game already decided where they belonged. Being in a situation where you literally win like 6 to 10 games in a row and you would get like 20 to 30 SR every single time. And it was frustrating, man. I was definitely there a time or two in Black Ops 7, but in Black Ops 6, it felt like I lived there. But now people are hitting Crim, people are hitting Diamond. I think damn near my entire friends list on Black Ops 7 are Diamonds and Crimsons. And a lot of people are saying that rank feels better. At the same time though, something does still kind of feel off. And it's not like the lobby still feels sweaty, because at the end of the day, we have to understand it's ranked, man. It's supposed to be sweaty. Not only is it ranked, it's Call of Duty. Call of Duty is sweaty, but some people are kind of suspecting that there is still hidden matchmaking, and I do believe them. Do I know exactly what's going on? Absolutely not. But I have gotten a few comments here on YouTube, TikTok, and I've even seen comments on other Call of Duty creators' posts and whatnot. But one that really stuck out to me was somebody in my comments were saying is that they have friends who are hard stuck platinum, and now they're suddenly Crimson players. And I don't think he was hating on them or anything. I literally think it was just something that he kind of wanted to share. Now, how he feels about it, I'm not entirely sure. He didn't really explain, and he's not obligated to. But give you guys my experience, I hit Crimson over the weekend, and this is my first time hitting Crim in any Call of Duty ranked ever. Now, do I think it's because of the new system? To a small degree, because last season with the old HPR system, I was still really like 5 to 7 solid wins off of hitting Crimson anyway. So I definitely think I would have hit it regardless without this system or not. But some people may argue, nerves, you're bugging, you got bailed by this new system. But who really knows? But at the end of the day, I don't really want this conversation to be is the system bad or is it good type ordeal. But I do want to start to try and figure out what's going on to the best of our abilities as a community. Because yeah, HPR is supposedly gone, but there's gotta still be something going on behind the scenes that we don't quite know about. And that's not an accident. That's kind of how developers keep us on the game to a certain degree. But yes, HPR is gone, right? But is everything gone? Your SR games do make a lot more sense for the most part, and the game doesn't seem nearly as aggressive at deciding where you belong. And personally, I think that's a good thing. But some people hear that HPR is gone and immediately think, okay, cool, SR means less now, which may or may not be true. You could definitely let me know what you think down below. But the golden ticket here is SR progression and matchmaking are two completely different systems. You can remove hidden SR caps, right? You can remove hidden progression systems, and you can still have matchmaking that tries to build balanced games. Cause like, let's keep it a stack. You don't think Call of Duty is just throwing 8 random people together and saying, good luck, everybody figure it out. Now I know some games it feels like that, 100%, depending on what time of day you're playing, depending on what kind of lobbies you've had in the last few games or whatever. Sometimes it can feel hella lopsided in your favor or maybe the enemy team's favor. But one thing I noticed is when I'm playing with players on my team that are much better than myself, those lobbies are absolutely tough. Like, let's say I have a buddy, he hangs around in the iridescent area probably like 70 to 80% of the time. But in this particular season, he hasn't quite played that much. And I don't blame him. Yes, he's what, Diamond 2, Diamond 3 or something right now? When we queue up with him, I get world starred. And that's how I know that the matchmaking still considers skill to a degree. Just because I have more SR than him, that doesn't mean that I'm necessarily better than him at the game. So those situations kind of matter too. Just a small example. Now, why a hard stuck player is climbing. This is probably the biggest argument I've seen. My friend was stuck plat, my buddy was stuck diamond, and now they're crimson, right? And some people in my own friend group have even said, yo, they're just giving Crimson away. Maybe, but maybe not. Because if the old system was actually suppressing players with HPR, then removing that system could cause people to climb, right? Imagine 2 players. One guy gets 25 SR and another guy gets 7. If you remove that hidden advantage, suddenly those players start ending up much closer together. That doesn't mean one player got worse. It might just mean the system stopped holding the other player back. That might be kind of a hot take, I'm not gonna lie. Because what I've been hearing is this is a little more of a traditional elo system like other games. This is really the only ranked system I play, so if anybody else is familiar with any other ranked systems, definitely let me know if this feels more traditional or if it feels more like Cartoon Network or Mickey Mouse or some shit. Now, the lobbies do still feel competitive in my opinion. Hitting Crimson, I definitely feel a difference in my lobbies. Now, I was saying this when I was streaming the other day. It doesn't feel like Crimson players are any better than like Diamond 3. They just play different. I even had somebody say in the chat, that Crimson 1 is actually Diamond 4. And look, it made me laugh, and I kind of agree, because from what I'm hearing, like the real deal Holyfield is like halfway through Crimson 2 and up. That's when you're actually in the trenches. And I mean, like, this isn't so much on gameplay, but a lot of people can state like, my games still feel difficult, my lobbies are still sweaty, and I still feel like the game knows exactly how good I am. And honestly, those are valid 100%. Because one question is, though, if HCR is gone, why do matches still feel balanced? If some matchmaking was purely visible rank, you would expect some absolutely bizarre lobbies. You'd expect random diamonds, random crims, and random skill levels. Instead, most people seem to be saying my lobbies still feel pretty competitive, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Not at all. It's ranked. It's supposed to be competitive. Really quick though, let me put you one of my guys over at Advanced Gaming Supplements. If you're trying to stay up past 8 p.m. on Friday night with the squad, you might need an energy supplement. If you have dry ass lips while sitting at your setup, you might need a hydration supplement. And if you have ADHD and you're listening to this video with one ear, you, my friend, might need a focus supplement. Second link down below, Cold Nerves 10. Go ahead and copy you a supplement. Now, this is the dangerous topic. Is Crimson easier now? Because somebody's gonna hear that and immediately say,
so you're saying Crimson players are fake?
No, absolutely not. But I know a lot of folks won't hesitate to call me fake. And it's like, yep, you caught me. I'm AI. I'm a fake crim. I was even a fake diamond. But at the end of the day, again, it's not automatically bad. Some games intentionally spread players out differently. Because if 80% of the player base is stuck gold forever, people are probably gonna quit. If more players are reaching diamond and crimson, maybe the system is healthier. Or maybe the previous system was too restrictive. And look, this is another faded take of mine. I have a lot of faded takes, and I'm kind of just ranting at this point. So if I'm losing you or if I'm not even making sense, I'm sorry. I've been sick for the last week or so. My brain is cooked. So if I'm not making sense, I apologize. Try to read between the lines or something. But I kind of had this theory that the game hard stuck people because they didn't want a certain amount of players in certain ranks. Let's say on paper, they wanted about 5 to 10% players only to be in Crimson. But in Diamond, they gave Diamond a lot more wiggle room. And like, let's say they only wanted about, let's say 15 to 20% of players. And I know that's a big number. I'm kind of just throwing out numbers for an example, because at that point, obviously it makes Crimson and Eerie and absolutely top 250 harder to reach, because they low-key didn't really want people to hit those divisions. And again, it's not like they handpicked the people and said, we don't want this nigga in Crimson, we don't want this nigga in Eerie, we got to keep him in Diamond, we got to keep him in Platinum. I had a theory that there was almost a certain amount of players allowed. So like, let's say maybe if somebody got banned or even just like lost SR and went back down to the last division or whatever, maybe that left room for another player to go ahead and enter that next division. Again, this could be the most brain dead theory I ever had, but it kind of helped my brain cope for being hard stuck diamond, I guess, right? Maybe that's not the case though. But I will say though, Iridescent is the real test. I think Eerie will tell us everything. Unfortunately, it's riddled with cheaters for the most part, because with this whole Diamond and Crimson conversation, a lot of people are essentially saying that people's ranks are getting inflated, right? Maybe a little bit, because like, let's say like a Platinum and a Crimson, they might have the same gunny, right? The Crimson player might have better gun skill, but the Plat player might have better game sense. Who really knows? I don't really think there's that big of a gap between Platinum and Crimson players like a lot of people think it might be. There is a skill gap 100%, but a lot of these Crimson players will sit there and act like they're freaking CDL pros when there's a Platinum kid in their lobby. Kind of getting back to the point at hand though, if everybody started hearing Iridescent, I would say, okay, the system is inflated. But if the majority of players still stop in Diamond or low Crim, then maybe the skill separation is still there. The best players always find the top. They always do. And honestly, if you're hitting Crimson now after years of grinding, maybe it's because you got better, maybe it's because you understand better, maybe you shoot straighter. But again, at the end of the day, who really knows, man? Now, honestly, I do think this system is better. And it's not even just because, you know, we're getting more SR for playing better. It just feels like a small change of pace within ranked play. Because when you think about it, we have been playing literally the same ranked play system for the last like 4 CODs now. But it does look like people are having more fun. But I also don't think the hidden matchmaking variable suddenly disappeared overnight. But yeah, I know there was a lot to unpack in that video. And again, I am so sorry if I fried your brain. I am so sorry if I didn't even make sense. I've had fevers, coughs, body aches. I've had the whole 9 these last like 7 or 8 days, man. let me know that you think I'm talking from a fever brain. If you made it to the end of the video though, thank you for sticking around, and I invite you to the Collective Cortex Discord server. If you want to continue having these kind of conversations outside of YouTube, we talk ranked. You can show us your setup, you can show us your pet, or just show us some silly memes, man. Check out one of these two videos here though, and I'll see you guys over there.